Here's what you need to do to double the amount of patients that you bring into your door each and every month. This sort of email and lifecycle marketing flow is going to have a pretty profound impact on your medical practice. And it's something that we've implemented for many of our clients, and they've had tremendous results in doubling the conversion rate of lead people who fill out your online booking to patient slash customer, rate, which would be getting the people who fill out a booking to actually showing up in your store. If you're able to double this, you're going to double the amount of patients that you get. It's going to have a really profound impact on your business. And it's also just super easy to do and super easy to set up. I mean, this is the biggest layup opportunity I see with a lot of my clients in order to grow their revenues pretty quickly and tremendously. So essentially what we have here is a kind of 5-day message breakdown. So we have the messages that we're going to send on booking day, messages that we're going to send 48 hours before the appointment, messages that we're going to send 24 hours before the appointment, the messages that we're going to send on the appointment, and then if they don't show up, the messages that we're going to send to follow up. And so on the day they booked the appointment, right? Maybe they searched dental practice, Austin, Texas, and found your business. And now they are excited and they filled out the online questionnaire to book an appointment. Well, when that happens, you want to immediately send them a text message saying, your appointment is confirmed. See you on the date. I always like to include extra information such as date, time, and location for each message, the doctor's name, a reschedule link, and in this first booking email, I would send any sort of preparation at a high level. Maybe the preparation is be on the lookout for an email that contains all the information that you need to prepare for the appointment. I also like to send an email at the same time, right? More or less covering the same thing as text, but in more depth, right? Where essentially instead of just telling somebody to look out for the email that contains everything they need to prepare, like actually listing out everything they need to prepare. People read text messages at a much higher rate than email. I think like close to 97% of text messages are opened compared to, right around like 50% or so of emails. And so it's usually valuable to, in your text, just say, look out for an email. People then will go to that email, get the information that they need or the information that you provide. And so those are what you send on the booking day. Now, 48 hours before the appointment, you want to send a reminder text. I'm sorry, not a reminder text. You want to send a reminder email just telling the user about the, kind of date and time. You also just want to include, again, all the information, the doctor's name and contact information. It's really important to include this link to reschedule or cancel. A lot of people are going to cancel or reschedule, and making it easy for them to do so will just encourage them to take that action as opposed to just not show up for the appointment. Really, the worst thing that can happen for your practice is for people to just not show up, right? Because now you're prepared to do something that you're not going to do. You're spending resource time and you're not able to rebook that slot, right? So definitely send all information related to rescheduling and canceling. It's super useful, and your patients will use it. Okay, so we're just going to send an email 48 hours before. We don't need to send an email and a text. You don't want to send too many text messages either, just because it can feel like a lot and the person can, block your number, and you don't want to become a nuisance in their inbox, right? You want to be a helpful sort of organization that's giving them information they need in order to have a successful visit. So at the 24-hour mark, you do want to send a text message and an email this time. I've listed out what the text message should say. It should say, hey, patient name, just a reminder for your appointment with provider tomorrow at time. Please confirm or reschedule, include the link. Essentially very straightforward. It can be automated. And it just prevents the user from forgetting that they have an appointment tomorrow. So that way they can either, take action and make plans to show up, or they can reschedule. I also like to send an email that day that goes over everything they need to prepare for the appointment. Maybe that's like not eating for X, Y, and Z hours. Maybe that's filling out XYZ form. But essentially, you want them to be prepared for the appointment. So you have to tell them how to prepare. That's a little too challenging to do in a text message, right? It could be really long. And so I like to send that in an email format. And then on the appointment day, uh, I just send an email. I send a text. You can send both if you want, but I generally, recommend to clients just to send a text, letting them know that they have an appointment today and asking them to reply yes to confirm. This is essentially going to give you an idea if the person is going to show up, if they engage with this yes. And if they don't engage with the yes, it gives you an opportunity to text them again, or potentially prepare for the person to not show up. Once again, you want to supply all the information that you can, so that way they can have access to where it is, what time it is, the doctor's name, reschedule, and tell them to look out for an email for the preparation details. And then the other email flow that I add into this lifecycle marketing flow, or the other email that I add into this lifecycle marketing flow, is the follow-up. So a lot of patients, they just aren't going to show up, right? Like, it's a part of business. However, we want to put procedures in place so that way if they don't show up, we still are letting them know that, we're friends here, and, we'd love for you to rebook sometime. It's okay that you missed your appointment. And essentially I do that in two ways. One is a text message, just letting them know that they missed their appointment, telling them not to stress. I mean, you want everything to be friendly and cordial here, and providing them a link to reschedule. In many cases, this does actually work, and people will reschedule right within this text message. I also like to send them an email flow as well, asking them to reschedule their appointment. And, if they don't do that, sending them another email, maybe a week or a couple days later, asking them to schedule their appointment again. And then finally, another email, which basically puts a little bit of scarcity in their mind, saying, hey, this is your last chance to schedule an appointment. Otherwise, you're going to have to go through the booking flow again. I don't know exactly what the consequence is, but you want people to be aware that there may be, some slight discomfort by not taking action now, right? It's really taps into like how we behave as humans and animals. People do not like scarcity, and people are more likely to take action when you add any sort of scarcity into your messaging. So this is the flow that we implement for our customers. It has a dramatic increase on the lead to customer/patient conversion rate. And if you're able to double that conversion rate, you're going to double the amount of patients that you bring in. So this is super important. It's the easiest thing to implement. And if you have any questions, please comment below. And if you want to see this document, it is in the description below. All right.